This week is an absolute game changer for AEW and WWE, and I'm going to tell you guys why. We're talking massive returns, new signings, and of course, we got to talk about some very big championship plans. But first, we're going to start things off with MJF. As you guys know, AEW is expected to bring MJF back to television relatively soon, and there are rumors that suggest MJF could be back in AEW this upcoming Wednesday, AEW Dynamite. Now, for a lot of fans, they did feel a little underwhelmed with CM Punk and Jon Moxley and how this story has turned out thus far. And of course, a quick fix would be having MJF return to TV. Now, effectively, AEW bringing back MJF makes the most sense as they are trying to get the best possible deal when it comes to their TV rights negotiation. And historically speaking, when MJF is on TV, he is typically the number one draw. Now, this is a really good thing for AEW at a time where WWE is picking up momentum. Just last week, AEW pulled in over 1 million viewers, and they want to continue this trend. So having MJF return to close out AEW Dynamite is a great way for them to bring up AEW All Out, what will happen there. And then, of course, the idea that AEW could promote 1 week in advance what to expect when MJF is on the mic addressing the crowd for the first time since his pipe bomb. You obviously know this is going to be a big deal to AEW, and it's going to continue the momentum of good television ratings, which again appears to be a big focus. Discovery is said to be happy with AEW, but if they continue performing like this, you know they're just going to start getting way more money, and more money. It's going to be a really good thing for AEW. Speaking of big returns, you guys keep asking me about Sasha Banks and Naomi. When are they expected to return? Well, Dave Meltzer says literally at any time, any week now, right? And Brian Alvarez has also mentioned that they are listed back internally on the roster page, so they should be back anytime. Now, a lot of people are wondering if this means tonight on Monday Night Raw, and there are some rumors out there that suggest Naomi and Sasha Banks could very well return tonight on Raw to confront the new women's tag team champions. Now, it does make a lot of sense to me for Io Sky and Dakota Kai to become the new women's tag team champions, and it also makes sense for them to go face-to-face with Naomi and Sasha Banks. Also, since they are a heel tag team, I think what they really need to do is explain to the WWE Universe why Sasha Banks and Naomi shouldn't have a title shot. After all, they did walk out on the WWE, so I think as a heel tag team, they're going to kind of stray away from having this match right away. But in fact, Naomi and Sasha Banks will be competing for a couple weeks to start getting some wins back as a tag team to effectively, properly build up a storyline against Io Sky and Dakota Kai. And I think that's the right move. I think it's really beneficial to have two former NXT stars win the women's tag team championship belts, and then to have them work with veterans who are popular inside and outside of the WWE. It's just a win-win situation. So I would say keep your eyes peeled for Monday Night Raw tonight. Also, I do want to talk about Santana Garrett. Maybe you guys remember her. She's appeared in WWE, NXT. She worked in Stardom. We even seen her on AEW a couple times. So it appears that she's actually been rehired by the WWE. She's another signing, another return from WWE under Triple H. It is also being said that she will be working in WWE NXT as a performance center coach. So she is not expected to be wrestling or anything like that, but this is another pickup for WWE in which Triple H said, hey, I liked her, I want her back, and we're going to bring her back. And it just kind of goes to show you that Triple H is trying to revert a little bit back to the old ways of NXT. And by doing that, it makes a lot of sense, bringing back people who are familiar with the system. Santana Garrett, obviously a veteran wrestler. She'll be able to work with a handful of women down there who are relatively new to the business. She'll be able to help them and guide them. And again, a big focus on women's tag teams division, the women's division altogether. I expect great things out of this return. Guys, I don't know if you expected this, but it appears that Roman Reigns could very well be dropping his championship belt at Clash at the Castle. So this is a very, very interesting story. WrestleVotes on Twitter tweeted out, for the first time in a long time, there has been some discussions creatively regarding Roman Reigns dropping the titles. I'm hearing multiple ideas have intrigued those making the final call come Saturday in Cardiff. Should be an interesting week ahead. Now, think about it. On a week filled with an MJF return, Sasha Banks and Naomi return, you know the surprises don't stop coming. Roman Reigns dropping the belt to Drew McIntyre would make a lot of sense. Obviously, the hometown hero reaction, the babyface pop that Drew McIntyre would get would be massive. But it's also really important for WWE to effectively explain to people why or how both title belts will be split between Raw and SmackDown. And I'm very intrigued to see how they go about it, but I think there may be a solution, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment because there is a massive return being planned for Clash at the Castle. How Austin Theory fits into the picture, we're going to explain. But first, here's a word from our sponsor, DraftKings. WWE is going down this weekend in the land of afternoon tea with the Queen. And to celebrate this historic event, DraftKings, an official gaming partner of WWE, is putting you, the fans, in the center of all the action with a share of $10,000 up for grabs. And guys, it's all happening this weekend. Playing for your share of $10,000 is super easy. Download the DraftKings app, sign up using promo code ANGO, and enter DraftKings free-to-play WWE pool. WWE has done a fantastic job making their show feel must-see with surprises that can happen at any given moment in time. Will we see some big returns? Maybe some big debuts? Who is going to walk out of Clash at the Castle with the WWE Universal Undisputed Heavyweight Championship belt? Will it be Roman Reigns? Will it be Drew McIntyre? Will it be Theory cashing in his money in the bank? See, that's the best part about this. Anything can happen at any moment in time, and if you think you have what it takes, then why not enter this free contest hosted by DraftKings? The players who guess the most correct answers will get their share of $10,000. So go ahead and download DraftKings right now and use code ANGO so you can enter the free $10,000 contest only at DraftKings, an official gaming partner of WWE. I want to give a big shout out to DraftKings for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you guys check out all of the links and information in the description down below, and I can't wait to see your picks. Let's have a great weekend. You know what would make this weekend even better? It would be the return of Bray Wyatt. Now, this is going to be a very big challenge for WWE to explain how the belts are going to be split up from Raw and SmackDown because, as you know, Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre is being promoted as a undisputed Universal World Heavyweight Championship match. Now, of course, a lot of people are wondering, how can WWE make this happen? And I think Bray Wyatt is the piece to the puzzle. We know that Bray Wyatt is expected to be back in WWE. There's rumors that Bray Wyatt is nearing a multi-million-dollar deal with the WWE for his return, creative freedom, world championship plans, and the idea of Bray Wyatt targeting Roman Reigns based on their history would be a very impactful way for Bray Wyatt to return. Also, I think Triple H needs to go back to his roots from NXT. You remember back when you would watch NXT TakeOver, you see the copyright little logo thing on the bottom, that little disclaimer, you think the show is over? Well, imagine this. Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns are there, Drew McIntyre wins the match, and then you have Bray Wyatt unleash chaos on absolutely everybody. Now, it is going to have to be a very, very specific commentary. They're going to have to say something to explain Austin Theory cashing in for only one of the world championship belts, but Bray Wyatt getting involved allows Austin Theory to be a coward, pick up a pin, end the pay-per-view, and leave with one of the championship belts. I think this is the only way WWE can do it, but again, commentary has to be specific as to how Theory walks away with one of the championship belts. The belt gets off of Roman Reigns. Drew McIntyre leaves with one of the belts. Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns becomes the big program. And look, we'll see what happens. I'm excited for Clash at the Castle. I want to know what you guys think down below. Let me know.